Is it like sideways or is it?
Hold on,
Okay, just a second, let me take it.
Hold on a second, guys. Hello!
Wait a minute.
Hold on.
Okay. Okay.
Hello, YouTube. As you can see, I am not off. I am not done. Mainly the reason because of checking on the internet, looking at the critic reviews, getting more hints since I'm still new to this whole thing. You probably remember back when we did our Clash of the Titans review that we were going to do a Tron. We were going to do an old versus new, the Tron movies. Finally, with this handy list I made here, anyone see that? Okay, then we finally are going to do it. Now, I love Tron. The concept of a world inside of a computer is pretty fascinating, and it also, was it 1982 when the first movie came out?
I think you know that for sure. Yes,
I
sounds
think
right.
It was
1982.
1982 was when the first movie came out, and the reason why it was such a huge deal was because no other sci-fi film had ever done what Tron did before. And it was a huge deal back then, but now you look at it, yeah, the effects are kind of outdated, and what was the term that you used for the suits that they wore?
You're going to make me say it.
Come on.
I thought the suits they wore looked a little bit like pajamas with, what did I say, light sticks?
Glow sticks.
Sorry. Pajamas with glow sticks. Well, they thought they were doing something interesting.
Yeah, and I thought they were. Mm-hmm. And to people in Hollywood, this is how you do some sort of a remake of a good movie in a way that is respectful to its source.
Yeah, well, let's talk about some of the problems with it. Like, why were their outfits kind of silly looking? Maybe the concept was such that they weren't ready. The technology wasn't ready for the actual
Yeah, if they had a little
concept.
bit more polish, then it would have been good.
And they tried to mix, what, cartoons and...
Live action was.
Mom's trying to call home.
Hold
and
on.
I didn't answer my phone. No, she's calling the other phone. It's right here.
Oh boy, hold on a sec.
Hello?
Oh boy.
Hi, Kelsey and I are doing a movie review, so you're now on the movie review.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't answer my other phone because of that. Now, oh, okay. Oh, drive-thru open? I know. Martin Luther King Jr. Day here, fans, in case you're wondering. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
What? We'll find out. Where he leaves. All right, bye.
Sorry about that, people.
We're back.
Okay, backstory for both of the films, and I'm not going to try and do the original as much as possible. Basically, the story of the original is that there's this guy played by Jeff Bridges who is basically in head of NCOM, this high-tech computer facility, but somebody like takes his work, they...
Do you think people already know the story?
Okay, forget it.
Let's just go through the differences between the old one and the new one. What
Let's
do you think?
see.
Is that on your list?
Backstories for both films.
Yeah, they're kind of... Well, we can talk about where they're different, maybe. Where are they different? I mean, what were some of the things we noticed that were definitely different?
Yeah, like the special... Like...
Not special effects, I mean the actual story.
The story of the old one was that Jeff Bridges' character was trying to get back his company, while the newer one, his son, tried to do the same, but was like trying to prove a point.
Isn't the new one the sequel?
Yeah, the new one's the sequel.
So it continues on with what the first one started.
Yeah.
Okay, but they had some continuity problems where we thought that didn't match up. What was the one thing we didn't like?
We'll get to those later.
Oh, we're not getting to that yet.
We're getting those later.
Sorry.
Number 3 is acting.
Okay, number 3 is acting.
Both movies did a really good job. Jeff Bridges still does a phenomenal job as both his character.
Great. You haven't seen that movie.
The
Neither
Big
have I.
Lebowski film? No,
Seen clips.
But I hear it's a cult classic.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Bridges in both films is quite phenomenal. He does a really good job of playing the villain, Clue. And for people who own the DVD, the way how they did Clue in the sequel is pretty phenomenal.
Looks just like him when he was younger, right?
Exactly, that's the whole concept. I literally, when I first saw him, I was convinced it was Jeff Bridges. Then I'm like...
He looked a little bit like a Final Fantasy character, but
yeah,
pretty close.
Like graphics on a Final Fantasy game.
Not as good as Gollum.
Yeah, no one can ever beat that. His son, I don't remember what the actor's name is, but he did a good job. Olivia Wilde as Cora. Awesome. Yori from the original film. Who was the actress's name again?
I don't know, the girl in Caddyshack?
Yeah.
Was she in the second one?
No, she was in the original, but she didn't do much. But all in all, both movies had really good acting.
Yeah, she didn't have a very big part in the original.
Yeah, like the old man and her, they were in the first film, and yet for the second one, they never were in the second movie. They never really explained that.
First film for me is marked by the giant glasses of the early 80s. Everybody wore eyeglasses that were great big. Kind of bothers me when I watch it again.
And oh yeah, who was the guy who played Castor?
Okay, we're going to have to look up the names before we do these reviews so we have them down.
Hold on.
Bruce Boxleitner and Jeff Bridges are about the only two I know.
Yeah, hold on. The actor who played Castor, I forget his name at the moment, as I do for a lot of actors. I'm sorry if I'm being...
Oh, is it the guy at Castor? Which one is he? The one with the white hair?
Yeah.
Oh, the one in the Daft Punk scene?
Yeah.
Oh, you know his name, too.
Michael Sheen, I think?
I think you're right.
Yeah, Michael Sheen. I loved his character. I just loved how over the top he was. And I actually learned from the special features that he was actually a fan of Tron. So being in a movie that you were a fan of as a kid, that's my #1 dream there. All in all, both movies had good acting, so it's a tie when it comes to the acting, right?
Acting was great, yeah.
Special effects, and this is where the big gap comes in. Original Tron, big deal, but you can clearly tell it looks like something out of like, I don't know, like an old arcade game, which I can see was the concept.
Yeah, they tried to make it original and different. It didn't look. It looked kind of cheap or
I think
something, even though it was probably really high tech for the time.
Yeah. To me, Tron definitely deserved the remake. You know what I mean? For special effects wise. Like, one thing that bugged me the most about the grid is that how are these programs living in here if they don't... They're human, like, when they're inside the computer. And that really bugged me when I watched the first film. Like, how do they survive when they're not, like, doing their business? Yeah. And the newer one, I liked how they made the grid kind of like a humanoid, like a futuristic humanoid city. Like it actually added some element things like rain, lightning, and much like a city, but it's set in a computer. And I really liked how they did that. And also, the one thing that drove me nuts from the old one were the guards. The outfits the guards wore in the original are just... They don't look intimidating. Well,
it looked a little bit like something out of a ballet. With glow sticks and puffy things put on them and a bicycle helmet.
Exactly, and the
maybe their budget was small. Maybe they didn't have a lot of money.
Yeah, the budget may be small, but just it didn't look that much intimidating. And I kind of liked how in the new one that they put a visor over their face. They talk in this deep, monotone, robotic voice, no emotion, and I kind of liked how they made them a bit more threatening. And music. All I gotta say is, original Tron orchestra music doesn't fit with a techno-like movie. It doesn't work. And Tron Legacy, the music is done by Daft Punk. One of my favorite techno artists duos ever. And fun fact that if you probably remember the scene at the end of Lion Club scene, they're actually in there for a cameo appearance as the DJs. It actually, and I feel really dumb saying this, but it actually took me a while to figure out it was them. I'm like, they wear these type of suits all the time. And to me, I think Daft Punk was made for Tron. Like the
music makes that scene.
Yeah, the music
makes it really exciting.
Yeah, like the music really captures the scene. Not just because it's Daft Punk, but it actually fits the mood. And the movie, the original, there are actually some good pieces, but there is hardly any music at all.
It moved kind of slow. Remember I was saying that when we watched it, it was like, it's like the original Star Trek movie. It's like, oh look, we're in a computer chip. We should focus on this moment for longer than we should. It was really longer than they should have.
Yeah.
Like looking into outer space for minutes at a time.
Yeah. However, unlike Star Trek, it didn't do it like for like 6 minutes.
It wasn't that bad. You're right.
So music-wise, it's really good. Now to what my dad mentioned earlier, the plot
that's
holes.
A plot hole. Yeah, they did continuity. It didn't. It's
like,
a sequel, but there were a few things that didn't quite go together. Like
the one thing that bugged me was that laser thing that teleported them into the Tron. Like in the original movie, it's underneath the facility of NCOM, underneath with this big.
It's in the actual giant building where the
instead
NCOM is.
And instead, in the newer one, it's in this back room behind the Tron game in the arcade. In this secret back room, and the one thing that drove me nuts about the new one, they never explain how it got there.
Maybe he had one in his basement at the...
Arcade.
Maybe he had one he was working on, or had a prototype or something at home.
That kind of makes me wonder. And
We'll
also...
have to read up on that and see if that's what's going on.
And Clue. Clue was in the original, but after he gets captured by the MCP... Master Control Program, for any of you who are not familiar with that term, he never gets mentioned again. And in the newer one, it's said that he was created by Jeff Bridges' character and was designed to create the perfect system.
Well, Clue got stronger, didn't he, between the old one and the new one?
I think so. But just the point of Jeff Bridges creating him and creating the perfect system, when was it in the first film that he ever mentioned to create a perfect system? Never.
He didn't.
He never mentioned it, and that kind of bugs me. And despite now old versus new, which do you think is better? Old Tron or the new Tron?
I don't know. I have trouble watching the old Tron. The new one's pretty good. I don't hate Tron. I consider it a classic. It's a good movie. Too.
But when it comes to certain things like music, special effects, and sometimes acting...
And the glasses. I don't like the big glasses.
And the glasses. The newer one wins. And rating. I give it a 8 out of 10. What about you?
The new one? How about the old one first?
The old one I give a 5 out of 10. The newer one I give an 8.
I'm going to have to go with 3 and 7. How about that?
Fair enough.
All right.
And goodbye, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this video, and put your comments on the bottom of what you thought of both movies. Try not to go too crazy. And what do you think our next review should be?
I don't know. You're getting pretty old, aren't you? Maybe Logan's Run. You need to watch the old one. They're making a new one, so maybe eventually you can talk about that. You wanted to do. We did Clash of the Titans.
Yeah.
What was the other one? Star Trek.
Maybe we could do it. The heck with it. Why don't we try a Star Trek comparison?
You're gonna make me watch the original Star Trek motion picture?
No, I have an idea. Any of you who comment, why don't you decide which movie we should do next if any of you try and bother?
Old versus new?
Old versus new.
We could do an old Sherlock Holmes and the new one.
Got it.
Ah, you like that idea.
But you can still decide what other movies we can do.
Or an old Robin Hood and a new Robin Hood. There's a lot of remakes out there, actually.
A lot of remakes, so the choices are on you. See you guys. This is Movietistic here. Hope you guys, I'll keep you posted more often. See ya, and I'll see you next time.
Bye.